The following is a presentation of Muddy River News.
Listen up, Quincy. The Dogwood Festival is back and reimagined at Lorenzo Bowl Park. Come watch the parade. We've got the best seats in town. Then stay all day and enjoy this brand new festival. Lorenzo Bowl Park will have food trucks, bands, children's activities, house tours, and more. It's free and open to the public. May 6th from 8:30 to 3:30 at 16th and Main in Lorenzo Bowl Park, home of the Women's City Club. For more information, go online to friendsoftheLorenzoBowlHouse.org.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad, and joining me today is Detective Zach Bemis. Hello, how are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm good.
Good. So I call you detective. I know you have a very specialized position, and it serves one of the most vulnerable demographics in our community. So let me start by saying thank you for what you do, because I think this is very, very important, and I'm sure that it is becoming increasingly so. So can you give us just a quick, because I don't want to screw up your title or kind of the umbrella of what you do. Can you give us just a quick background of what it is?
Sure.
Okay.
So I am the Elder Service Detective for the Quincy Police Department. I have an office out of the Senior Center, the Quincy Senior Center at 639 York Street. I still work for the Quincy Police Department, but this is kind of a unique position because, you get your own office in a building where you're surrounded by all these great agencies that senior citizens use.
Sure.
So primarily what I do is I will investigate crimes against the elderly and the disabled.
Okay.
And that can constitute financial exploitation crimes, theft by deception, which is going to be your scams, all the way down to abuse and neglect.
Okay. So you kind of run the gamut. So it is great that it's different. I didn't know that this position existed, which is another reason I love Muddy River News, because I get to learn something new every day. But this is just a really great, it's just a great thing that the QPD is doing, that you're doing. I think you mentioned somebody did it before, but you started in this position relatively recently, right? Right. Okay.
Yep. I started at the beginning of the year. Adam Gibson was my predecessor. He had done this for, I think, about 9 years.
Oh, wow.
The position itself has been around for over 20 years.
Really?
So it has been around. It doesn't get a lot of notoriety, but it's important that people know this. Number one, this position exists.
Yeah.
And two, what it's here for.
Sure.
Because it's not only a position where you can investigate crimes, it's also a position where you can just talk with the community, get them set up with different services. It's kind of like a liaison type thing. So
yeah, that's awesome. So liaison between, so you mentioned, anything from scams, specifically targeting the elderly, which I'm sure is it more prevalent now do you see an increase, I guess, because I think you mentioned that this position's been here for so long, but I would imagine that these things just are increasingly more prevalent.
It seems to increase just, every year there's more and more people that get into technology, get, an iPhone, they get access to the social media, especially the senior citizens who are very kind. They don't kind of have the mentality of younger people where it's easy just to hang up the phone or say, I'm not interested, and click. So there is a little bit more vulnerability there where they're going to continue to talk. A lot of it is just the cold calls that they get. Our phone numbers are just everywhere, and scammers, can have access to those. And I still get calls like that. I'm sure you do too.
Yep.
But we know what's real and what's fake.
Right.
And a lot of times they are very good at what they do. The scammers are very slick. They will keep them on the phone, and they will convince them that they either need their help to work some type of government investigation, or they're with an agency and the senior citizens are in trouble.
Okay.
And in order to get out of the trouble, this is what they need to do.
Oh, so they either scare them or play to their heartstrings, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So I asked you this before. A lot of this is probably done, I hate to say, after the damage is done. So after, someone's already been scammed, someone's already lost money, someone's already lost information. But some of this is done proactively as well, right? So you're not just there to correct after the damage is done. You're there to help prior to, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, we have a very good relationship with many of the local banks in the community, local nursing homes, and I do get calls because they have my contact information. Almost every single one of them does, trying to get ahead of a problem.
Sure.
Saying, we have a customer at a bank, we're concerned. Any help from you would be great. And sometimes I'll just go and try to meet them.
Yeah.
And I'll introduce myself and ask, let's have a conversation. I'm interested in learning about this new car that someone is telling you won.
Sure.
And how it hasn't been delivered yet. And they're, it's like a trailer breaks down and now I have to pay more money, to have this and have that. So it's important to kind of get those calls, and that way, instead of the $20,000 that's going to go down the drain, maybe we can do $1,000, or maybe we can catch it before anything is.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Those are great calls to get.
Sure. So, do you accept calls? Do you accept meetups from individuals, from citizens? Do you primarily rely on the senior center and the police department or the banks, as you said, to connect you with the consumer, or how does that work?
There's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
The banks will call. Sometimes a concerned family member will call, concerned neighbor.
Okay.
A lot of it is the children. They're saying, I've talked to my mom or dad. I'm trying to tell them not to send this money anymore. They won't believe me. Can you help? And
Sure.
a lot of times that's better because it's going to come from someone from law enforcement sitting down, having a conversation. And I love to have that out at my office at the senior center.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a nice environment. They feel comfortable there. And it is just like a face-to-face conversation.
Okay.
And letting them know that if this is real, if you really did win something, I'm all about it.
Right.
I'm on your side, but I want to help you if you didn't.
Right.
So.
Make sure that they know what to look out for. I think that, people, it's unfortunate that some people just suck that bad, but they really, it does, it is becoming such a problem. And it's not just the elderly. They run this, across all ages. And there are zero exceptions, right? They just throw things to the wall to see what will stick. And unfortunately, like you said, the elderly are a little more vulnerable because they don't have almost I don't want to say the cynicism, but it is almost like, they want to believe that what they're hearing is right and true and that people still are good. So it does make it a little more difficult, I would say, to kind of get, let them know that this may or may not be fraud, right? And then you also mentioned, and I don't even like to think about this, but you also mentioned abuse, or so do you work with other, I guess, how do you even tackle that? So
there is an agency called Adult Protective Services, and they're basically like DCFS for seniors and for disabled people. Okay. And what they do is they will investigate allegations of abuse, neglect, and that can be financial or physical. They can also do like self-neglect, which is going to be your hoarders, things of that nature. And then I work with them almost every single day. Really? They have an office in the senior center. They're fantastic to work with. And we will go out together and we will help each other out. And working with them will actually assist my investigation because they can do certain things that will help me out too. Sure. As far as obtaining some medical records, and then we can review those and start to get kind of a jumping point on what we need to do.
Sure,
So.
sure. Well, I will say I'm a little ashamed that I didn't know this existed. I'm also kind of happy that I didn't know I needed it, right? Yes, because if I call my mom senior citizen one more time on this show, she's probably going to kill me. But it's good to know that this service exists. And it's not a great thing that you have to, but when the need arises, it is great to know that someone's there to help out. So again, thank you. If someone were to need your services, how would they best reach out to you? I know you said you mentioned you had an office in the senior center, but how would they reach out to you?
There's a few different ways. You can call out to 911. You can call like the non-emergency line
Okay.
and ask to speak with me, and they can send you to my voicemail. That's either through the police department or through the senior center itself, if you would call them, and I would get that almost immediately.
Okay.
They can walk in. I get probably on average 2 or 3 walk-ins a day.
Oh, really?
To my office
Okay.
if I'm there. We can sit down and talk. You can send me an email. You can do any of those things. All of the information is going to be on the Quincy Police Department website also.
Okay.
So,
Excellent. All right. Well, Detective Zach Bemis, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
I want to make sure I get it right. So your official title, because I don't know that I ever allowed you to say it, but what is it?
Elder Service Detective, but it's also known as the Elder Service Officer.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter.
Really doesn't matter.
I'm
Okay.
a police officer. I'm
Okay.
here to help. So.
All right. Well, Officer Bemis, Detective Bemis, whatever you are, thank you so much. I appreciate your help, and I appreciate you coming on to chat with me.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up, I sit down with Mr. Steve Eighinger to talk about the Quincy races.
Quincy Warehouse Bargains is your Quincy home improvement store. It's the only store of its kind in the Quincy area. We offer flooring, mattresses, area rugs, dining sets, couches, appliances, and much more. And have more products to come so we can better serve the Quincy and tri-state community. Our staff is ready to help you find what you need to make your house a home. Quincy Warehouse Bargains, 4100 North 24th Street, Quincy.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be. Before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center.
Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
A great night's sleep starts at Harvey's Furniture. Check out the large selection of complete bedroom sets. And when it comes to mattresses, we have a full selection from Bemco, Spring Air, and Chatham & Wells. Harvey's Furniture. Our home, your home.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
And welcome back. Now joining me, Mr. Steve Eighinger and Eighinger. I love that shirt.
That's compliments of our boss, but Mr. J. Robert Goff.
Hey, he's the best sometimes, isn't he?
Sometimes.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm expecting my face shirt anytime now. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so not necessarily talking about the shirt, but we had to mention it because it's awesome. However, we are here to talk about something equally as awesome, and that is the Quincy Raceways and the Quincy race season that is upon us.
Started last night, and it was a great turnout for as cold and windy and dusty as it
God.
was. It was brutal out there at times.
It was.
And I was in the realm of the press box most of the night, but it was It was still freezing, let me tell you.
You were sitting in the comfort of the press box. It's still not warm by any means, though, right?
Comfort in quotation.
Yes, comfort, yeah. So any highlights?
I was impressed by the number of people and the cars who showed up because, it's still early and a lot of guys are still working on their cars. Usually the 1st of May is when you get everybody clicking at once.
Sure.
And the racing was great for the first night, and some of the improvements they made out there were obvious. There's a new fencing along the backstretch, for example, and the crowd was very receptive. But there was not one complaint about the weather or the weather conditions.
Good.
Among the drivers or the fans. Everybody was just glad to be there.
Everybody's ready to be back. That's awesome. Okay, so I mentioned Quincy Raceways. It's now called Adams County Speedway. Do I have that right? Or
Correct.
Raceway? Okay.
It's still hard to remember.
It is, and I always feel bad because I know it's under relatively new ownership, correct?
Yeah, Jim and Tammy Lawrence are in their 2nd year.
Okay.
And they're operating it. They haven't officially become the owners yet, but it's a process that works. But yeah, they on a scale of 1 to 10, what they've done in the last 2 years, it's about a 19.
Nice. That's awesome. And because I know it is, it's not only a favorite pastime, but it just seems everybody loves to go out there. They love the sounds, the excitement, the dirt in their beard, the food. I mean, it just is all one awesome experience. And if you've never done it, definitely go. But we all have our favorites. Mine is, of course, the people, because when you go out there, the camaraderie is unlike anything else. You know,
it really is.
It is. It's so cool. Of course, I always like a cold draft beer, even if it has some dirt in it, which is part of the experience as well. What's your favorite part?
I would say just the overall scope of things. I mean, I like to get out there 2, 3, 4 hours early just to talk to the drivers, just do some serious eating before the races start.
Yes.
By the way, I had 3 burgers, 1 cheese, 2 otherwise, and a hot dog before the races even started.
Look at you go! You are an overachiever.
I'm in mid-season form right now.
Hey, well, you got to get acclimated to what's going to come this season, right? And that includes a lot of good food, and they do have good food.
They do. It's tremendous, and it's probably they've changed some things around, added to the menu, altered some things. And it's better than it was last year. And last year was really good. So, yeah, I mean, you're not going to lose weight when you go out there on a Sunday night.
Well, that's not the point, right? That's not even hardly the point. The point is to go out and watch these guys who, I mean, racing truly is their passion. I mean, there is, sometimes there's some prize money, but this is all for fun and all for passion. And they love getting out there and they love competing. And not only that, a lot of them are buddies on and off the track, right? So it's just one big awesome family.
Oh, a lot of them are buddies.
Some of them are.
But those friendships can turn to fisticuffs at times.
Absolutely. I've seen that too. That's part of the excitement as well.
Oh, it is. You know when there's going to be a fight in the pits.
Yeah.
You just know it from what happens on the track.
You can sense it. You can. Yeah. Okay, so I got to say, I remember when I was a youngin' going out to the raceways, Mr. Bob Goff actually announced the races back then, and I would run him up his cheeseburgers and stuff. That was kind of my job. So full circle, which is weird, but
I know when I moved out here from Ohio, Bob was still in the last few years of his announcing out there.
Yeah.
And that's when I actually got to know him.
Really?
Yeah.
See? Look at that.
It's a small world.
It is a small world, and the Adams County Speedway or Quincy Raceways, however you know it, plays a big part in a lot of Quincyans' lives, whether it's, pastime or current. We all love something about it. And so it's every Sunday night is when they hold races, right?
Right.
Okay.
Starting time is usually in the 6:30 neighborhood. Just depends how fast the hot laps are done and things like that. And last night, they even bumped it up to about 3:30 at starting time.
Right.
But and they knew that it would be a problem because you get the sun, the dirt, the atmospheric stuff, which I have no idea how that all
We're no
works,
weather people. We'll leave that to Mr. Kinshirf, right?
Right. But they had trouble with the dust all night. I mean,
yeah.
And the track had been chemically treated all week, but the weather conditions, it just wasn't solid for a great night of racing as far as the fans were concerned.
Sure.
But one of the racers afterwards said, "We can put up with a little dust. We're racing again."
Yeah. we're race car drivers, and yeah, we're out here, and the weather may not be perfect, track conditions may not be perfect, but I think everybody's ready for a great race season.
Oh, yes, most definitely. And if this Sunday night is a normal Sunday night, 60s, or whatever the temperature is, and the wind's not blowing out of whatever direction it was last night, there'll be a huge turnout. Probably the rest of the cars will be ready, or at least most of them will be in there. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward. I've started the countdown already for next week. Sunday night.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think you're alone there. I think a lot of people really, really enjoy it. So thanks for coming on and giving me a little the rundown of the Quincy Raceways, the Adams County Speedway. I look forward to more chats about it. And if you haven't been, make sure you go Sunday evenings. Do you know the address? It's like
8,000 Broadway, home of the Broadway Bullring.
There you go. I should have known he would know. Anyway, so if you haven't been, go check it out Sunday evenings at the Adams County Speedway. Thank you so much, Steve Eighinger. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that does it for today's Daily Muddy. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for more.
Muddy River News. Our home, our news.